I found this, the key to success here. How many of you felt like that before? Okay. And so with that being said, I get back to El Paso. And by the way, I was working at Roadway Express at the time. I was working from 5 p.m. in the evenings till 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning. Eddie and I also had an entertainment company with 16 employees, like 16 children. I got rid of 15, one still follows me. And, it was a vicious cycle that we were living in. And my why was to get out of this vicious cycle because, see, what I wanted, financially we were okay, and that was important to me because I had previous to that, to working at this job with Roadway, I was a single mom on welfare. And so, believe me, I know the struggles, Nathan. And so, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to allow me to quit my job. I'm going to be able to go full-time in Legal Shield. I'm going to be able to spend time with my kids. This is everything I wanted. I ran out and started doing what I was taught in group school. Family, I felt flat on my face. Completely flat on my face. It was horrible. How many of you have ever felt like somebody was ridiculing you, laughing at you, pointing at you, like, oh, you're crazy, you're doing that what thing? And that's how I felt. And so, long story short, I called Mark Brown back, who was my mentor, and I said, Mark, I appreciate you, assisting me and guiding me to do, better in Legal Shield or prepaid legal. I really thought that I'd be able to do it, but I can't. And he said to me, Melissa, well, what happened? I said, well, I took your advice. I went to group school. I came back. I fell flat on my face. And he said, well, talk to me about what happened. So I talked to him about how the whole process worked. And he said, well, Melissa, are you telling me that because you just want someone to listen, or do you want my advice? And it was something Nathan talked about as well. And so I said, well, both. And he said, okay. He said, success is a choice. This is what he told me. Success is a choice. You can choose to quit your business right now. You can choose to continue to try to do prepaid legal, now Legal Shield, part-time sometime, anytime. But if you choose to really want to go full circle with Legal Shield, you got to continue to grow. And he said, so my advice would be, go back to group school. And I said, well, wait a second. Mark, is there a version 2? And he said, no. Well, I'm thinking, like Nathan was talking here earlier, well, it's the same training, it's the same trainer, it's going to be the same. Why would I do that? That sounds insane. I've got to call in sick from work, right? Call in sick from work to actually take time to drive up to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I got to pay my expenses. I got to pay for the training, right? That's crazy. And he said, well, Melissa, remember, success is a choice. Now, something was very important in this conversation. Mark Brown had asked me my why. When I told him I wanted to go full-time in Legal Shield, he asked me my why. And I said, well, because I want to have quality of life. I want to have time with my children, okay? And this is what he said to me. Success is a choice. If you quit, it's up to you. He says, however, if you quit, your why is your children, so I dare say you quit on your children. For the girls in the room, I was taking off my earrings, I was taking off my shoes. I was going to Fort Worth, Texas to kick some Mark Brown butt. So I thought about it, wasn't happy about it, but guess where I was that second month? I went to group school. Now, I went for the wrong reason, because I went like, I'm gonna go show Mark Brown I can do this, right? You ever get like that? Oh yeah, okay, I'll show you. And I get to group school, and I kid you not, the trainer, same trainer, within an hour of him training, my eyes and ears started like, really? This is phenomenal. I went up to him on the first break and I said, Mr. Kimbrough, why didn't you say that last time? He said, I did. No, really, if you would have said that last time, I wouldn't be here today because I'd be out there making money. He said, no, Melissa, I did. He said, this PowerPoint's the same. This manual's the same. The trainer usually will say the same things. He said, what's different is you. At that time, I didn't believe in any personal development and philosophies, so I was just like, okay, I might have changed clothes, but I didn't change clothes, right? I wasn't getting it. I went back to El Paso. I started having a little bit of success. I called Mark Brown back and I said, hey, Mark, I appreciate you giving me that advice. I probably will do this on a part-time basis, but I could not quit my job to do that. I'm terrified of quitting my job. I'm terrified to go back on welfare. He said, well, Melissa, what happened? I told him about it. He says, well, Melissa, success is a choice. I was like, you're killing me. He said, if you want my advice, I'd say go back to group school. Well, before he could say, of course, if you quit on your children, because I didn't want to go there, I hung up the phone, and guess where I was month 3? Group school. Group school. How many trainers in this room have ever seen people come back every single training. Very few. Very few. So month 3, guess what? When I was in that training, guess what happened? That training was completely different. At the end of the training, I went back up to Kyle and I told him, I said, man, you just keep getting better. I thought it was the trainer. I did. I had no idea it was me. See, what happened between Mark Brown encouraging me to get to the training and then Kyle teaching me the training encouraged me to get into activity. What happened is I was on a scale that I didn't know existed, which is learned knowledge and activity knowledge. And so when you come in this business, you're sitting like this, you're lopsided. You have very low knowledge and very high anxiety. And when you go to trainings, and I don't want to put training in a box, when you come to a briefing, when you come to a luncheon, when you come to an event like this, when you go to a LSU or basic training, if you go to a B2B school, I don't care what it is, anytime that you increase your knowledge through that training, as long as you apply what you've been taught, because you only can absorb so much, right, when you agree? Because like he said, he listed out 3 pages of things we tell people. You know, I mean, wasn't it amazing how he talked about all the different things we talk about? And so with that being said, if you apply what you've been taught, you lower some of that nervous energy through the activity. It makes just a little bit more sense to you because if you've experienced some of this. When you go back to training, what ends up happening now is you now can absorb more. You know why? Because of the experience you've had. That's what they meant. I get that now. No wonder they said no to me. You're now connecting now, okay, knowledge, experience. Go back and learn more, go do more. Go back and learn more, go do more. When you get your level of knowledge and your activity to a point where it's balanced, this business becomes second nature. You don't think about what to say, how to say, when to say it, who to say it to. It just comes out. I mean, it's just a natural process. I'll never forget when I got there. I was